There is no image more powerful or striking than that of a roaring flame. Fire was so important in the maintenance of wildlands that a Native American tribe used the same word for both prairie and fire. Fire is still necessary to the diversity of plants and animals, but lately it's become too much of a good thing. Last year, 350 acres burned in the tiny town of Weed. The blaze destroyed over 150 structures, including the Catholic Church, the elementary school, and portions of the lumber mill. 1,500 residents were evacuated from their homes, many of whom didn't have one to come back to. Nearly 8,000 firefighters fought the King Fire in Pollock Pines, which destroyed over 97,000 acres and 70 structures. This is to say nothing of the catastrophic fires that Lake County was faced with this year. Not only do these fires blaze through the landscape, they burn through the money in our state's pockets as well. Last year, California officials tucked extra funds into CAL FIRE's emergency wildfire budget, bringing the total to a whopping $209 million. Just 5 days into the fiscal year, $13.9 million had been spent. We can't afford to continue spending money on fires that could be avoided by simple measures. If we cannot control the increasing fuel load in our state, we will continue to be subject to wildfires that ravage California. If we reduce the fuel load, we can drastically impact the potential for these natural disasters. A few years ago, the slough next to my house was becoming dangerously overgrown. My parents considered many options for getting rid of the brush and fallen trees, but finally decided on one: goats. Yes, you heard me correctly. Those tin can eating garbage disposers are like animal weed whackers. In a few months, those goats had completely cleared every leaf and tree. Forest management on federal lands to remove dead and dying trees and brush fields is backlogged by litigation, resulting in overgrown forests, increased diseases, and diminished wildlife habitat. This inability to manage our forests has caused destructive wildfires. We could use goats and cattle as tools for helping us maintain healthy ecosystems. RCDs can participate with ranchers and forest managers to create collaborations which would benefit them both. In fact, when my parents put sheep on our alfalfa to remove excess vegetation, the owner of the sheep gives us a lamb in return. Obviously, this bartering would not work in a government system, but a compensation program would favor both the wildlands and the ruminants. While grazing alone cannot maintain land health, coupling it with prescribed fire can be tremendous tools in the maintenance of wildlife habitat. The image most people get when they hear the words prescribed burns is completely out of Disney, with little Bambis fleeing with flames licking at their heels. The fact, however, is prescribed fire is the most direct way to provide habitat for the animals and prevent massive wildfires. RCDs can participate with CAL FIRE and other land managers in devising a relationship in order to further the use of prescribed fire. In fact, my local RCD has worked with the U.S. Forest Service and CAL FIRE to use prescribed fire as a safe, economical, and effective land management practice on private lands contiguous to public lands. California needs a coalition that will establish and assist in building a statewide network to manage controlled burns. If the RCD and CAL FIRE conforms to coalition, the wildlands, as well as the state's pocketbook, will profit from more prescribed burns. There is an internet sensation called Kid President, who is known for his precocious sayings. One of his most famous quotes is, "If it doesn't make the world better, don't do it." I propose a new phrase for the world to chew on. If it would make the world better, just do it. Creating a livestock grazing program and orchestrating more prescribed burns can only benefit our wildlands, our state, and our world. Let's not let California's light blaze out. Let's just do it. Thank you.